Cosmosfm 91,5, το ελληνικό κοινοφελές ραδιόφωνο.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to Anthoula Katsimatides, and this is Color Your Life on Cosmosfm 91.5 WNYE, streaming live at cosmosfm.org. You can also catch us using your app on your phone, using the app called TuneIn, where you can search for Cosmos FM. Tonight we have a very special guest. We are going to be talking about a wonderful service dog program, a canine program that has been instituted by the American Hellenic Educational Progressive Association, the AHEPA. And speaking with us tonight, and there's a dog with us in the studio, ladies and gentlemen. How appropriate. Stay tuned and you'll get to hear more about this program and my dog. We'll be right back after a few short community announcements. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to Anthoula Katsimatides. This is Color Your Life. And tonight, you all know, actually, that I am a major dog lover. I have a dog named Smokey, who I adore, who's with me in the studio tonight. So if you hear him barking, it's just him wanting attention. But appropriately enough, there he goes. Appropriately enough, we are going to be talking to a very distinguished gentleman who has served our country many times over and continues to serve the Greek American community as a member of the AHEPA. His name is George Karatzia, and he is a past district governor and also a member of AHEPA Chapter 517 in Homedale, New Jersey. And he's going to talk to us about this program that he himself has instituted and taken to a national level. It's a service dog program. Welcome, Yorgo.
Welcome, and good to be with you.
Thank you so much for being with us today on this very, very hot, muggy day in New York City, although it's pretty nice out considering, right?
Yes, I'm on the beach.
Ah, that's awesome. I'm so glad that you've taken time out of your schedule to talk to us today. So we were talking before we got on the air about this canine program. Would you like to just tell us about it? That's Smokey loving the canine program. You want to talk to us a little bit about this program? You could start at the beginning if you like.
Yeah, it starts, I was a combat infantry soldier in Vietnam, and, you go through a lot of training, basics and advanced infantry training, and then you're in Vietnam to find out that you just don't become a soldier overnight. And what happens is, of course, you're in a combat situation and you just see too much, do too much. And what happens at that point is that there you are with the fellows of your same age all over the country, and everyone's speaking about their aspirations when they get out of the army, what they're going to do, and they want to go on to college or get married. But what happens when you come out, you don't realize what's happening to you. You're not the same person that went in, because just like you don't become a soldier overnight, you don't become a civilian overnight either when you come home. And it takes time, and for some, physically they come home, but mentally their mind is still on the battlefield. So they get to a situation where they don't feel comfortable being around people. They have heavy bouts with depression and anxiety attacks, and again, not realizing or understanding what's going on. And this could go on for many, many years before they realize that they have post-traumatic stress disorder. And the hardest decision that they have to make is to seek help.
Of course.
And a lot of them just would rather keep it inside them.
Sure.
Now, today, with 22 veterans a day committing suicide,
it's an awful, staggering
this is
number.
Not acceptable.
No, not at all.
So being a combat veteran, being a member of AHEPA, and I just felt that it was time that AHEPA has to do its part. AHEPA has a great history in doing great things. When AHEPA came to the national forefront, it was in 1945 when they sold almost $500 million in war bonds. They
Unbelievable.
sold more than any other organization in the country. And they did such a great job that the President of the United States, Harry Truman, a year later said, "Who are these guys?"
Wow.
And he himself became a member of the Order of AHEPA.
I did not know
And
that.
so-
That is incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And so here we are now in the year 2017, and perhaps it's once again time for AHEPA and the Greek community to not stand on the sidelines, but that all of us, we have to do what we could to save these lives.
Yes.
And the way the VA is handling this, dealing with this, is just with medications, 15 medications a day, 20, 30 medications a day.
That's
and
awful.
all it does is put these poor guys in a black hole.
Right.
And what's proven and that these service dogs, that they doing a phenomenal job, and they help the veterans mitigate their problems.
Absolutely.
It's and these dogs, it's not just going to a pet store and you're getting a poodle,
Right.
and this is considered a service dog, but these
Right.
are specially trained dogs
Right.
that learn. And what happens is that you own a dog,
Yes.
and you probably know that your dog knows you probably better than you know your dog.
Absolutely.
He knows when you're happy. He knows when you're sad.
Yes.
And when you're sad, he wants to poke you and,
Yes.
and
uplift
get
you
out of that.
somehow. Yeah.
And these dogs have been trained. And one of the worst thing for a veteran with post-traumatic stress disorder is to be caught in a nightmare.
Right.
And this nightmare is like a movie that plays over and over, and it doesn't fade out, this movie, and it's a horrible movie. And it's a horror story, because in this dream, not only do you see, you hear, you smell what was going on. Was it blood? Was it dust blowing in your face? When you were in the jungle, it had a different smell. And all of this stuff is all part of this post-traumatic stress disorder.
Right.
And where do you escape? How do you escape this?
Right.
And with a service dog, they sense that you're in a bad dream, and they will wake you up. They sense when you're having a seizure to try to help you get out of the seizure.
Right.
They try to poke you, whatever. And if you're in a seizure, they will get on top of you and try to hold you down, but to keep one hand free so you could stroke the dog to start relaxing and, calming down. Last year, I invited 3 veterans to come to our district convention in New Jersey.
Yes.
2 of them had dogs, 1 didn't.
Okay.
And 2 of them who had the dogs told you how their life came, how it turned around.
Right.
And the one fellow who didn't have a dog, and he was waiting, it takes about a year,
Right.
and he was talking about, he was a policeman with the Homedale Police Department,
Okay.
and he started to have suicidal thoughts. He had the gun to his head, but for the love of his wife, he was able to put the gun down and this is where it takes really courage to go ask for help.
Of course.
A lot of these veterans just don't do that, and unfortunately they become a statistic.
Right.
But this fella, the week after our convention, he went to the Vietnam Memorial in New Jersey with an American flag. He walked 237 miles to the Washington Vietnam Memorial to bring an awareness
He walked?
of this. Yes, it took him 3 days.
Oh, my gosh.
And to bring, and the newspapers were covering the story,
Right.
covering about post-traumatic stress disorder.
Right.
And after the 3 days, he winds up in a hospital with blisters. Now, that was 2 years ago. And just a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
he did it in reverse. He went to the Washington Vietnam Memorial, and he walked back
Oh, my God.
to the Vietnam Memorial in New Jersey.
Wow.
Again, to continue the awareness of post-traumatic stress disorder.
God bless him.
22 a day, this is not acceptable. Our
Not at all.
veterans,
They deserve more. They deserve more.
the
Yes.
math is simple here.
It's so simple.
the veterans, those who go to war, represent 1% of the population. See, the math is simple. The 99 could take care of the 1%.
Right.
And the price of these dogs, where we get our dogs from, they're $15,000 a dog. And here's a great part of the story. I think you and your listeners are going to really appreciate this. So where do these dogs come from? These are rescue dogs themselves.
Okay.
And what happens is that before they found these rescue dogs, you have to breed these dogs special to do this kind of work, and it costs anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000.
Lots of money, yes.
But by going to the rescue, imagine saving a life to save a life. An incredible story.
Really is.
And this is real.
What rescue? What rescues? You just visit rescues? Are they specific ones?
These are dogs that are going to be
euthanized.
They're going to be euthanized.
Yes.
And what happens is that there's a story also where we get our dogs from is they're called the letter K, the number 9 as K9s for Warriors. They're based in Florida.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Briefly, I'll tell you about their story.
Okay.
That they had a son who came home from Iraq,
right? And
he didn't come back the same. He was also in that black hole, but they understood what was happening to him. That he had post-traumatic stress. He didn't want to leave the house. He didn't want to be with anyone.
Of course.
And so they had the means to get him help with the K9 program. They heard good things about it. And what happened is they got their son back. And who was this family? Their name is Duval. The husband, Bob Duval, he was on the pro golf tour. And their other son, Dave Duval, then was the number 1 golfer in the country.
Oh.
And so others now were reaching out to them to please help my son. And they were trying to do their best, but they were over their heads. So the PGA gave them some money to help them get started. Bear Aspirin heard about them and gave them money. But the real money was the owner of the Jaguars, the Florida team, the football team. He gave them $8 million.
Oh, my gosh. That's
and
amazing. So
now they were able to expand their facility. They have something like 1,200 volunteers.
Wow.
And this program, it's working. They're saving lives. And when I went to last year, I had to go to Las Vegas at our national convention. And I had asked the Duval family to come there to help me answer questions before the projects committee. These are bright men, and only less than, 5% of things that go before them get approved.
Right.
And after they asked many, many questions, the chairman says to me, his name was Harry Caballas, a wonderful man in North Carolina, and he says, not only do the veterans need a service dog, AHEPA needs a service dog program. Oh. It's a good red, white, and blue program.
Absolutely.
And so, they say whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah.
Well, thank God.
This didn't.
Thank God what happened in Vegas didn't stay in Vegas. And today it's a national project. It's the AHEPA Service Dog for Warriors.
Wonderful.
And I'll tell you, I remember when it passed. I remember somebody next to me says, "Be careful what you wish for." and yeah, I understand. It wasn't going to be easy.
Of course not.
And I'll tell you something. The way that this is being accepted, it's absolutely fantastic. The different chapters, the way they're supporting it. There's this great group of guys, the Delphi chapter in Manhattan. They invited me and they made a donation. And the priest, Father Vasily, a Vietnam veteran, he says, I didn't know there was going to be a presentation like this. I would have given $1,000 of my own money.
Oh, I love Father Vasily.
You have in St. Nicholas in Flushing, the AHEPA brothers there. They had a cigar night. Nick Aracosta, Harry Yanakis.
Oh, I love those guys. Those are my guys.
They're special.
They are.
Special.
They are special.
They raise $30,000.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, and then in Jersey we had our convention last week, and the AHEPA family with the daughters, Karen Marousas, leading the way. She put together a comedy night, and they raised $15,000.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
And I'll give you another story that I was out in Pennsylvania. I was invited by the Eastern Conference, Pennsylvania, the AHEPA family. Mm-hmm. And when I was out there, the grand president of the daughters was there. And so I made a presentation of this program. Mm-hmm. They asked me to speak, and they were asking questions. And, when I was district governor, I would go somewhere, there would be a local mayor or congressman, whatever, and they would be politically correct, and somebody would say, oh, yeah, you're AHEPA, yeah, you're that Greek group, right? And I talked to the grand president, I said, you get to meet the president of the United States, U.S. senators and congressmen, and every year you go, they have that awkward moment with you, don't they? Yeah, like you're that. Well, I said, next time they have that awkward moment, you know what you tell them? We know what AHEPA's doing. We're saving lives, our veterans' lives. And we have this wonderful life-saving program. Because AHEPA's not going to be on the sidelines here.
That's great. That's great.
We have to give our veterans all the help that they could. I mean,
I couldn't agree with you more.
I could tell you something. What really haunts me at this point in my life at 70 is that, I've been blessed. I'm the lucky one. I'm a veteran. I came back alive. Yeah. Not the same, but nonetheless, I came back alive. And, I was fortunate to have a business. I was fortunate. I got married. I have 4 beautiful children, 6 grandchildren. Mm. And what haunts me are those who lost their lives in Vietnam, who were cheated by all of this.
Right.
That's the worst part.
Right.
That is, and so for these veterans who did go to war and came back, and how bad is the VA?
Pretty bad.
Just last year, at 92 years old, we were able to get a warrior who was a CB. I mean, they're like commandos, those guys in those days.
Right.
A CB to get their full benefits, because all of these years the VA was telling them, "Nah, there's nothing here for you."
Oh my goodness!
I mean, there's people with Purple Hearts, and the VA said, "Nah, there's nothing here for you." And this is a horrible thing, and I tell you, I don't know,
It's awful. It's so awful. And you know what you're doing?
Everybody gets just taken care of. People are given food stamps.
Right.
Everybody's taken care of. But the veterans
who fought for our freedoms.
Why are there so many homeless today?
It's sad. It's very sad.
You know what happens? That these guys...
We're failing these guys.
In the past 3 months, my Disabled American Veterans chapter in Freehold, New Jersey, by the way, that's Bruce Springsteen's hometown. And anyway...
the boss, right? We love him.
We have found in 2 veterans, young men, Iraq War.
Right.
That one was living in a park in some makeshift tent, and another guy was living in some cardboard behind some little strip mall. And we pride ourselves to be able to help these veterans who need help. We will get them money. We'll get them clothing.
Good.
We have a service officer who's ready and knows the system to get them housing. And this is what we're doing. But where's the VA here?
Right. Well, that's
Why
a
are they
bigger, unfortunately, that's a bigger issue to deal with that unfortunately AHEPA probably can't tackle. But I think it's really commendable that you and the AHEPA chapters have sought to make this one of your national projects. For those of you just tuning in, we're talking to Mr. George Karatzia, who's part of AHEPA chapter of 517 in Homedale, New Jersey. He's also a war veteran, and we thank you so much for your service, George.
Thank you.
And the program that he's talking about, that he's found and he's helping, is called Canines for Warriors.
AHEPA Service Dog for Warriors.
AHEPA Service Dog for Warriors. And all the money raised for this program goes to the Canines for Warriors nonprofit?
That's correct. We're a 501c3.
So for more information, people can go to www.ahepa.org.
And we're under the Service Dog for Warriors program.
Oh, there's a section for it on the AHEPA website.
Right.
Awesome. So people can find it down under the AHEPA project. There's a link for Service Dog Project. I see it now.
And people could call me directly. I'd be glad to give you my phone directly. I have no problem picking up my phone. I've done it so many times, and
that's great. Go right
so
ahead.
Many good people.
But on that website,
you can call me right on my cell. It's 732-610-6622. I'll be glad to answer that call.
That's wonderful, George. Thank you so much.
Also, even to your listeners, that there's a veteran who feels that they're not getting their proper benefits. They can call me too. I have friends that will help them too.
That's wonderful. Repeat your number again, George.
732-610-6622.
Thank you so much, George. We've come to the end of our program. I just want to remind everyone that we've been talking about this very valuable program that raises much-needed funds to purchase service dogs for wounded warriors and veterans suffering from PTSD. Keep in mind, folks, that 22 veterans die every day from suicide as a result of PTSD. And you guys have already purchased your first dog, right?
That's right.
And the dog's name?
Our first dog is AHEPA.
Ah, that's awesome. I love it.
But guess what?
What?
AHEPA is a female.
Well, that's okay.
We love it just the same. We love it just the same.
That's okay, George. It's so wonderful.
All along, we thought, AHEPA men's organization we're gonna get a boy, but it makes no difference. We have a lifesaver, an angel named AHEPA.
That's
and
wonderful.
Also, if I may,
yes,
that the chapter in Tom's River,
yes,
the $15,000 that they raised, they're going to buy a dog, and the dog's name's going to be Penelope, as the daughters of Penelope.
That's wonderful.
So we have an AHEPA and a Penelope.
Hey, George, how much does one dog cost?
$15,000.
$15,000. That's great.
And in that $15,000, again, this is not. You have to consider this as though you got to get, once you get past the price tag, you got to see what are we talking about. This is.
I don't think that's a lot of money at all, actually.
It's a medical instrument.
Right, correct.
If you look at it that way.
It's better than any drug, any pharmaceutical, that you're going to spend that much money on over the lifetime of a dog anyway, probably more on pharmaceuticals,
Right, and what happens is that the dog for life will be covered for medical reasons.
Right.
And every year, the dog has to go back to Florida to make sure that it's still
up to par,
understands its commands,
sure,
and gets retrained again.
Sure.
Every year.
Wow, it's incredible. Thank you so much.
And if one of these dogs should pass away to the veteran, they don't go to the back of the line again. They will
be the next ones up.
Online.
Yeah.
Yep.
To get a dog. That's incredible, George. Thank you so much. I've learned so much tonight, and I'm very proud of you and your brothers and sisters and their accomplishments in the AHEPA and taking care of our veterans, because, someone has to do it, because these people deserve our admiration, our love, our help, our resources, because they've fought so that we can be free.
I'll be honest with you, when, I didn't look for this. I don't need another thing in my life. I have plenty. But this program found me, and I'll be honest with you, that when this went to Las Vegas and it became a reality as a national program, at that moment, I felt a moment of epiphany.
Yeah.
I believed it was something that these things are, we got 15,000, we got 30, we got all these people that want to give more. This not just getting lucky.
Right.
This is not about me, that I'm doing such a great job. I really believe all this is being done with the grace of God.
Yes, that's God. Amen. Amen. I believe that too. Thank you, Yorgo Munasik Allah. God bless you and keep you well, and so you can continue helping these veterans out in any way we can. And ladies and gentlemen, you can go to AHEPA.org for more information and click on the Project Service Dogs. And if you can donate, I think that would be a wonderful place to donate your money. I know I will be. So you're listening to Anthoula Katsimatides. I want to thank my guest, George Karatzia, for being with us tonight. And I'll be back in 2 weeks. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Η συχνότητα του ελληνισμού στη Νέα Υόρκη. 91,5 Cosmosfm.